Everyone thinks that teens in our world today use alcohol, tobacco, or drugs to cope with everyday struggles. You may think they do.
But they don't. Welcome to the But They Don't podcast, a podcast for teens, by teens. Join us as we cover substance use prevention, mental health, community conversations, and more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of But They Don't. It is everyone's favorite elder millennial. My name is Jessica, and I am the Prevention Director at Behavioral Health Services, and I get the awesome opportunity to work with our youth board every day. It is a pretty busy week for our youth board this week, so I decided I would come on and do the final episode in our Scary Stories About Substances series with a story on underage drinking. I just want to remind you that while this is a true story that we found online, the names, details, and locations have been changed to protect privacy of these individuals. That leads us to our blunt truth of the week. Although youth drink less often than adults, when they do drink, they drink more. More than 90% of all alcoholic drinks consumed by youth are consumed through binge drinking. In 2019, 4.2 million youth reported binge drinking at least once in the past month prior to the survey. That's a lot, guys. So here's our story. It was the first night of Christmas vacation 2008, one of the biggest teen party nights of the year. 17-year-old Cindy James, an athlete, honor student, and avid shopper, begged for her older sister Gina's permission to borrow her Mini Cooper for the occasion. She even offered to detail it. "I told Gina it sounded like a pretty good deal to me," Rebecca James, the girl's mom, remembers with a smile. Rebecca had no qualms about giving her daughter permission to head out and spend the night at her best friend Amy's house. "We knew Amy. We knew her parents," explains the soft-spoken mom. Though Rebecca's manner may be unassuming, she's always been known as one of the stricter parents in her neighborhood, thanks to her tough-as-nails career in law enforcement. At 21, she was a correctional officer in a men's state prison. 10 years later, she was working as a bodyguard for California's governor and his family before leaving the capital to raise her family in rural California. "It was a safe place to raise kids," says Rebecca, and her husband Billy of the area, known for its lakes, caverns, hills, and fields with grazing horses. "It's a place with a small-town vibe where a teenage girl won't get away with much, especially if everyone knows her mom is a former cop and her dad is a labor rep for most of the public employees who live there." Cindy had been busted before for trying to drink. Her mom caught her on her way to a beer pong party, says Amy. Cindy disappeared from the social scene for about a month after that. Rebecca grounded her younger daughter and afterward kept a watchful eye on her, always checking where she was going and with whom she'd be with. "The second I knew I was going to be a mother, my whole life changed," explained Rebecca. "Everything I did from that point on was with my children in mind." Despite Rebecca's efforts, Cindy continued to sneak around a bit, Amy admits. But she wasn't this wild party girl. Cindy partied like most of us did. She didn't stand out as a troubled or moody kid. She was curious about alcohol, curious about how much she could drink until she passed out, just like many other teens. "You just drink until you're out, and then you sleep it off," Amy pauses, then adds. Cindy was full of energy and curiosity. Her motto was dig life. We all just wanted to have as much fun as we could and to see how much we could get away with. On that December night, after stopping for tacos, Cindy got a call on her cell from another pal, Jane, who invited Amy and Cindy over to her house. Both of her older sisters were home, Jane explained, and she let the two girls know that she was drinking and everyone else was too, says Amy. By the time Cindy and Amy arrived just after midnight, the family had been drinking together, Jane included. Cindy chronicled the night on her cell phone. "Just family. It's nice, though. Nothing like a party at this person's house," she texted to a friend. She also snapped a photo of the full bar at the house. You can see her in the mirror taking the picture. And there's another photo from that night of Cindy casually dressed in a t-shirt, her blonde hair loose with Jane's father partly visible. His arm is around her slim shoulders and the two are smiling widely. The holiday vacation had begun. According to statements to the police, Jane's parents and her older sisters headed upstairs to bed around 1 a.m. Before retiring, Jane's father admonished the guests not to drink. He then left them seated around the open bar. That was when the drinking really got underway. Cindy's drink of choice that night was vodka, and her goal was to down 15 shots of it. I honestly don't know why she got that number in her head, says Amy. Maybe she saw someone do it at a party. Cindy was an athlete. She played volleyball and was on the cross-country team. She had a competitive spirit. We all told her it was a bad idea, but she was determined to make that her goal. She started downing the shots at 1:08 a.m. When the first bottle of vodka ran dry, the girls found more. Cindy took a photo of the second frosted bottle and then tracked her progress in text to friends. A half hour later, the 5'6", 107-pound girl had consumed 10 shots. "Slow down, you'll get sick," a classmate texted her back. Cindy's messages got sloppier and sloppier until she sent her final texts of the evening, announcing that she'd reached her goal at 1:58 a.m. When Cindy began to feel sick, Jane led her to the nearest bathroom to vomit. When Cindy seemed to pass out, she was propped against the toilet for the night. Her young pal then left to be with Amy, who at this point was also sick from drinking, and periodically checked on Cindy. Clearly, this party had gotten out of control. Around 8 o'clock a.m., the father of the house, a prominent area doctor, was preparing to open his medical office on his property to treat the first day's clients. Intercepted by his daughter, who had been up most of this time, he asked about the previous night. "Cindy's not feeling well," Jane reported, but she apparently sounded no alarm. It wasn't until Amy awoke around 1 hour later that anyone took notice of Cindy's condition. She went to check on her and was horrified by what she found. Cindy was still slumped into the downstairs bathroom, completely motionless. Her head hung over the edge of the toilet bowl, her lips split from having slammed against the porcelain in a bout of violent heaving. Pulling Cindy up, Amy saw her friend's face streaked in blood. She tried to rouse her, but Cindy remained unresponsive. An older sister was summoned and phoned her father. He quickly returned to the house and dialed 911 to have an ambulance sent to his home right away because he'd found a child that's here and I don't think she's breathing. When asked if he was sure she wasn't breathing, he responded, "I can't. I'm not sure she's alive right now." Dispatchers instructed him on how to perform CPR, urging him to continue until medical help arrived. The EMTs who arrived on the scene found a weak pulse, but were unable to revive the girl. Cindy James was pronounced dead at 9:40 on the morning of December 20th. Her blood alcohol content was 0.33, 4 times the legal driving limit for adults in California. We've shared all of these scary stories about substances over the last few episodes to show you the true face behind using substances or experimenting as a teenager or young person. The choices you make today can affect you and all of the people who love you for a long time. We're encouraging you to make healthy choices and hope that you'll encourage your friends to do the same. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to share it with someone else who might. The Youth Board, their mentors, and Behavioral Health Services of Pickens County wishes you a happy and safe Halloween. We hope you have a lot of fun, but we hope you do it safely. And be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all episodes and upcoming events. We're on Facebook at Pickens County Youth Board and Instagram and TikTok at WeArePCYB. Happy Halloween, everyone!